Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to break down SQL injection step by step to show how a simple input flaw can lead to serious data breaches. You know, SQL injection is one of the oldest web attacks, yet it still appears in modern systems. And understanding or having a good understanding of it helps explain why secure coding practices are very essential. What's the essence of SQL injection and why does it matter? SQL injection remains a major security issue. It is one of the oldest web attacks, as I mentioned earlier. It is widely exploited in our world of today. It directly targets databases and it can expose or destroy critical data. Now, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is a classic input-based attack. It is a type of injection attack because we have different types of injection attack. And SQL injection targets database queries. It abuses unsanitized user input and it allows attackers to control queries. Let's look at how databases are used in web applications. We need to have an understanding of this because we are considering SQL injection. I want you to know that databases power most web applications. You can ask me how. The reasons are: 1. They store user accounts and application data. 2. They handle login authentication. 3. They process search fields and form input. And lastly, they respond to application queries. Let's look at what a normal database query flow looks like. Web applications follow a predictable data flow. It can start with a user submitting an input, then the application builds a database query, then after that the database executes the query, and the results are returned to the user. Now, here is where the problem starts. SQL injection begins with unsafe trust. That means user input is trusted and input is not properly validated, or maybe input is inserted directly into queries, or attackers are changing the query behavior. When you see where SQL injection is being used, any of this is happening. Here is a simple example of SQL injection. For this example, I would like that we consider how a logic can be broken. For instance, a user wants to sign in into an application. Then we already know that the login form would expect username and password, and an attacker seeing this particular login page can enter specifically crafted inputs. After that, if that input is accepted, the query logic changes and authentication can be bypassed with that. What are the types of SQL injection we have? SQL injection comes in different forms. The first one is classic SQL injection, and this directly alters queries. The second one is blind SQL injection. This infers data without errors. The third one is error-based SQL injection, and this uses database errors. The fourth one is time-based SQL injection, and this uses delays to extract data. Let's now consider what attackers can do with SQL injection. SQL injection gives attackers powerful control. They can read sensitive data, they can modify or delete records, they can bypass authentication, and they may give full control of the databases. Let's now connect SQL injection and CIA triad. SQL injection affects all core security principles. Confidentiality is broken through data exposure, integrity is broken through data modification, availability is broken if database is crashed, and many SQL injections affect all the 3 pillars of cybersecurity. That is the CIA triad, which are the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability. I mentioned it earlier that SQL injection is one of the oldest type of attacks, and it still works even till today. So the question should be, despite being well known, why is it that SQL injection still persists? Here are the reasons. Because we have legacy applications, and legacy applications are applications that have been built for years and that are still in use. Also, input validation for some applications can be very weak, most especially when businesses or organizations are trying to build an application so fast and ship it so fast. Also, secure coding practices are missing. When an organization is not practicing secure coding, then SQL injection is not far from any product or systems they build. And lastly, testing may be insufficient. It could be that after building the system, instead of testing thoroughly, they just tested a few parts of the systems and they didn't probably do it sufficiently. Here are real-world SQL injection impacts. The consequences of SQL injection are severe, and some of them are: customer data can be breached, financial records may be exposed, accounts can be taken over, and legal and reputational damage can follow. What are now the basic SQL injection prevention? Prevention techniques for SQL injection must be well established. So let's consider a few of them. The first one is that you need to validate all inputs. Second one, you can use parameterized queries. Third one, you should apply prepare statements. And fourth one, you should limit database privileges. There's no way we'll talk about SQL injection without considering secure coding mindset. Because secure development starts with assumptions. You need to assume that there can be a breach. You need to always assume that there might be someone somewhere who is trying to try different types of attacks, and SQL injection might be one of those attack methods. Now, having that in mind and trying to develop a secure coding mindset, you must know that you should never trust user inputs. Secondly, you should always assume inputs can be malicious. Thirdly, you must always validate and sanitize data. And lastly, you must build security into design from the start. Security must not be an afterthought. What have we learned in this lesson? This lesson has explained why SQL injection is very dangerous. We've seen that SQL injection exploits trust in user inputs. We've seen the small mistakes that can lead to major breaches. We've seen that databases are high-value targets. And we've considered some prevention methods, which I believe are well understood by now. Let's take a test together. Here is the question. What best explains why SQL injection remains a serious web security threat? As usual, pause the video, read through the options, pick your answer, drop your answer in the comments, then come back to play the video. So what's your answer? The correct answer is C, because it allows attackers to exploit unvalidated user input to manipulate database queries and access or destroy critical data. That's all for this lesson. If you're here to subscribe to our channel, please do not hesitate to do that now, as we have more amazing videos that we're going to drop in the future. Also, do not forget to like, share, and comment. I would like to see a comment on what you've learned in this lesson in the comment section. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.